huge buffet. Need to get there ASAP. Alright, best of 5 PvP to determine who qualifies from the upper bracket of the TSL9 North American Regional Qualifier. Nailed it. Bottom right, Neeb. Top left, Astrea. The assumption is that both of these players are going to make it through today, but one of them might have to try in the lower bracket, and Trigger did get kind of close to killing Astrea, so it is still a little frightening. And then the only other chance that these guys would have are on the server qualifiers. So there's a Europe, Korea, and North America server qualifier, which means that it's open to everyone, but you have to play on that server. So there's like a home field advantage. So they could play on North America, but that's only top 1. There's going to be a lot of other people playing on North America. Neeb almost for sure will play on Europe, because that'll be okay for him anyways. He does it all the time. And then Astrea might play in the Korean one. But that's kind of it. So very few chances for the North Americans. You know, reduced down to 2 slots, and then 1 more on the server qualifiers. It's unlikely to happen. So it would be nice if they could just get through right here, right now, and not have to worry about a lower bracket or another qualifier for the main event at TSL9, which main event's going to be online for 3 weekends, and then there's going to be an offline kind of finals in the Netherlands. I'm always curious how buffet places maintain on a budget. You know, for the not what I just showed you buffets, I could see how. But that one? Yeah, I don't get that one. Astrea is proxying a Stargate by the looks of things. I don't think he's gonna take a Nexus. I would love it though. Neeb knows that something is up. Sees the lacking pylon. He does take a Nexus! You so silly. You silly, Astrea. Unfortunately, I think this has already been done enough that people will check for it. So, not that people are going to be checking around specifically for a hidden Nexus, but it's going to be possible in their brain. And then they're going to check around for the proxy Stargate, which will inadvertently find the Nexus. So, I'm not sure how much Astrea was hoping that this would be totally unscouted. I really don't. Could be that he expected to be scouted, but he's hoping that it'll be kind of a trap, basically. Or he was really hoping it would be scouted. I think both are viable. But say that he did know that it was likely to be found. The thing about any of these proxy, hidden, unorthodox bases is that they can kind of be a trap. So in ZVZ, Zerg's take a gold base, and then he'd say, oh, they're going to have such an economic boom, and then, of course, what would they do? They'd use their current economy, their current drone count, to just all in faster. The Protoss side of things, I think what happens is that, you know, Neeb tries to punish it, invests into a direction that he wasn't planning on, necessarily, and then because it's a little haphazard, because it's a little like, oh, that's what he's doing, okay, let me kind of like pivot here, it doesn't work out. But it looks like things are already going okay-ish for Neeb. Okay, maybe take it back. Astrea does have more reinforcements coming, and that is going to punish Neeb a lot. So for a second, it was 4v5, but then it quickly turned into 3v6, and now it's 2v6. So this is not going well for Neeb, and that is the kind of trap exactly that I was talking about. But it looks like Astrea did not give any credit to what Neeb was doing, had no idea if it was an Oracle or a Bobro or a Twilight Council, and has lost now 8 probes. Easily 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He gets 12. 12! He gets 12. And Astrea is pretty much screwed anyways. 11 workers to mine a gold base, but he is trying to now bust up the main ramp using whatever stalkers he was able to accrue, and there is not a lot here for Neeb, so they both didn't expect a lot of things in this game, and Neeb did not expect the stalkers to just bull rush up into his main, but a quick probe pull, an Oracle to maybe help out a little zappy zap. Okay, it does go down, but the probe pull is actually great against stalkers. Captured the 2 up there, no blink obviously, and Astrea is dead. He is dead. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. Wait, no. Because the Oracle's gonna come by and kill all these probes. It's like, well, if he remains untouched for the remainder of this game, but the Oracle's gonna come in. And really, if Neeb went for a second Oracle to ensure that he always can run around main or gold with the Oracles, I would not mind it. So Astrea back down to 14 probes. It's hurting. And there is a second Oracle on the way. There you go. Sounds like a good idea to me. Astrea can't even really afford to protect his bases. And if he decides to protect them with shield batteries, and that's 200 minerals out of an army, she can't really afford. And if he decides to warp in units to protect them, that will contribute to an army later on, but still won't be enough of an army anyways. And then they'll be stuck at home, not really doing anything on the map. It's just pain. I can see why Astrea wouldn't tap out, though. If he can ever get these gold base... if he can never get the gold base saturated, then his economy is better than it would look. When you look at 20 probes versus 31. But, Neeb is already using his increased income to propel forward on the army supply and the technology. Orogo is going to come out, probably just provide a warp prism and then 3-gate to win this game. This is very much like the two bullies on the playground. One holds you, the other one kicks you in the stomach. These Oracles aren't playing fair. And Astrea is actually the one that's going to go and try and attack again. Which is fair enough. But Neeb is almost also ready to do his own attack. Didn't get a Warp Prism first, so he was waiting, but... yeah, doesn't even have to get the Immortal out. GG. That was wacky. That was fun. Game number 2 is going to be on Tropical Sacrifice. The bottom left up one, he is Neeb. In the top right, it's Astrea. And they both are going to low ground expand. So Neeb wasn't doing this against his previous Protoss opponents. But now that he's facing Astrea, he is going to go for a Gateway expand on Tropical Sacrifice. Don't know if it is because it's Astrea or he's just, trying to mix things up. Never be known as boring and expected, I guess, in PvP. As soon as someone figures out exactly what you're gonna do, it is rather bad. So just keeping an eye on whether there's going to be a second gateway thrown down. Mono is doing a lot of the low ground walls, but still going into 2 gateways. And both of them having probes. I mean, they're going to block each other's nexus, and it's going to be a good old time. And we'll see if they both go into Stargates as well. And then who maybe tries to get a Stargate first versus actually trying to get the Nexus down? Both of them are capable of getting the Nexus right now. They are not actively blocking each other's Nexus. But it's not time yet either, so that's fine. So Nexus comes down first. Then if you want to block the Nexus, you gotta start doing it now. And in response, a Zealot gets started. The Zealot has to be made, because if they do block me, if it was Zealot, it's a really tough time. But then if one of these players were to leave a little bit soon, you know, they're like, yep, I did the thing, I blocked him out, he forced me to make a Zealot, good for me, then technically Zealot could be cancelled. Never happens, though. This almost always results in both of them having a Zealot, and maybe someone tries to throw the Zealot across the map is a difference. And then another difference is the Stalker versus Adepts. And the last difference is that Neeb did actually go for a Stargate as soon as possible, where Astrea is actually trying to get this Nexus up by the looks of things. And Neeb, mindful of that, goes back in and blocks it out again. So Neeb is just getting, I think, ahead right now. He's blocked the Nexus a decent bit while having his Stargate being prepared. Of course, he's going to fall behind on the Nexus timing, but that is something he was accepting of. So I guess ahead's not really the right word, but I think Neeb has opened up an opportunity for a Stargate, and that opportunity, it's got a lot of potential. We'll see if it actually gets to do its thing. Astrea has finally added on his own Stargate as well, and should be going right to a Phoenix. It's possible... Where are his Stalkers? I was gonna say it's possible that he keeps the Stalker at home, warps in a second Stalker, and then goes into an Oracle himself. Well, he's gonna have to recall out anyways. And he did go for a Phoenix first. I was gonna say, like, maybe if he tried to go for an Oracle, then Neeb wouldn't expect it. And then Neeb is going for a second Oracle, but doesn't have a Phoenix back at home. But then also that's gonna be covered by a single shield battery, so is it really worth it for Astrea to get one Oracle? Ay, ay, ay. About as well as you could handle that for Astrea. And Neeb just gets the heck out of there. Did make a second Oracle, though, and then it'll come back later. The Phoenix can't be in all places, and it is just the one Phoenix. As Astrea moves on to a Twilight Council, something the Oracle was capable of seeing. It did get right here, so that makes sense. And this Phoenix is now being used for both scouting for Astrea, but also it may actually be trying to catch the Oracles. If they were more alone, then they may be able to chase one down. And that would have been nice, but doesn't happen. So they both get into Blink. Astrea has 2 more workers. 2, count them, 2 guys. But Neeb still has the 2 Oracles, so that probe count can change pretty quickly. Oh, he's got a 3 worker lead now. Yeah, only 1 Stalker? Definitely. Definitely Neeb is gonna die for these probes. So there you go, change up pretty damn quick. 6 probes go down, both Oracles are still alive, and Neeb is gonna protect the Oracle retreat with some of his Stalkers as well, or will he? Okay, the Oracle doesn't die! Now there's a Phoenix, though. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Okay, 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 he's gonna get it, he's gonna get it, he's gonna get it! No, he's not gonna get it! Good lord, both of them so weak. Astrea looks like he's gonna maybe give up on it. Yeah, just keep that Phoenix alive for later. I think he's got to give up on it. Can't actually go and chase that Oracle. Yeah, yep. Fun times. Astrea gets a faster 3rd Nexus, a much faster 3rd Nexus. That is already 80% done. Our Neeb has just started his. Now, Neeb did get his additional gateways faster, and if he actually uses them, then he might be able to attack Astrea's 3rd base with a fine number of Stalkers. Currently, he's actually less on Stalkers, though, so I don't know if he can actually chase like this. His Zealot, still from the very beginning of the game, coming in to just be a real bother. Oh, bother. And now what is the situation? Neeb has 4 gateways to 2. No Warp Prism, though, and no Robo in general. He's going to try and add on this Forge to get a faster +1, and now he has on the Robos. There's not going to be an attack on Astrea's third. So Astrea has more probes, a much faster third, has been mining consistently better. No? Wow. I mean, this is when the probes died, I guess, so that makes sense, but I actually would have figured that that Nexus... Well, now it's starting to. Alright, there we go. Now we're getting a little bit more of that spike as Neeb's Nexus finishes, though, so... Okay, there we go. There we go. That looks better. But still, Neeb isn't as far behind as I was expecting. And now 14 soccer's at 12. Neeb doesn't have the advantage anymore. Yeah, can't really be breaking Astrea with that, can he? Neeb is going to try and get into his own charge and Archons. Astrea not going into Archons. Not yet anyways. He is grabbing a 4th Nexus and a Robotics Bay though, so he's not just going to go for a 3-base kind of all-in attack. There are plans for the future. But he's going to Disruptors, and Neeb is going to go into a more just smash, Hulk smash type of army. Which then means that while Neeb is currently on the defensive, trying to get his 4th base up at a reasonable time, he is probably going to be the one on the offense in about a minute or two here. Trying to force charge Stalker Archon down Astrea's Disruptor throat. Might work out, might not, we'll see. Guardian Shield, pretty useful in this type of battle. So Astrea is maybe taking on a bit more than he should, but he does have the Stalker lead. So I don't know if Neeb is necessarily in the right to be chasing as confidently as he was, but it works out. And now Neeb, he's got +1, he's getting into an Immortal. He might be too late to an attack if he actually waits for another upgrade. Yeah, if he's going to wait for another upgrade, well then just simply put, he's behind on Disruptors. If he's not taking advantage of his compositional difference right now, the fact that he's going to have more units, then Astrea's going to get to, 4 or 5 Disruptors. And that'll be enough to make up for whatever quantity difference there is. Which is usually the problem when it comes to the high-tech player versus the, the lower-tech player. So the Disruptor player versus what is still, Tier 3 technology with Archons, but yeah, not as much, I guess. Anywho, usually that's Neeb's army just overwhelms. And especially if Neeb starts affording more into the charge lots, then the Disruptors aren't getting great hits, they're getting bothered, they're getting surrounded. And then Neeb could actually win. But if Neeb was going to wait for that +2 like I was talking about, that would have been way too late. He does start to push when it's about halfway done. So not fully committed on winning right here, right now. He's got 4 bases. He's on his way to his own Disruptors. But he is looking for an attack opportunity. He wants to catch Astrea. Just too few balls. And then he can pounce. But Astrea's just getting more balls, guys. Balls that are full of shots, by the way. So it looks like maybe Neeb was hoping that Astrea would push into him a little bit more. He's got these very defensive-like stasis traps. And Astrea is not eager to push into it, just calmly takes his 5th base. It's already done. He's got the worker lead. Also working on his +2, a little behind on that one. But he's got 4 Disruptors to currently 0 of Neeb, but Neeb is on double Robo production, something that Astrea delayed in favor of getting Disruptors just straight up faster. And now with an Observer, stasis traps won't be affecting this game, and Neeb is the one that's going to be in the defensive. And this is when things really turn around on the player who focused on the gateway units, is that when they are on the defensive, they don't have a lot of room to get concaves or micro, then they are going to have a tough time against the Disruptor player. In fact, that was crazy. Almost losing all of his Stalkers right there, but then Astrea tries to cover the blink forward and uses his last Disruptor shots. Now, that was a rather quick decision to go for that Disruptor recall. It absolutely was the correct decision, but he's only down to 2 Disruptors, and I'm not even sure they have their shots. They do not. So he is up against an overwhelming number of units from Neeb with +2, and Astrea, he was in the right to play around this idea, but needed to be really careful with how he did it. Just wasn't careful enough. Now down 30 supply. At least finishes up his +2. But now it is Neeb who's going to be reinforcing this position with disruptors. He's going to be the one abusing the chokes now. And while defensively, Astrea might be able to hold on for a little while longer, I don't know if it's actually true. Once again, Neeb blinks forward into the disruptor shot, snipes it, takes it down, and Astrea's last disruptor coming from the backside is hoping for one hell of a Hail Mary attack. It's not that great. It does get 2 disruptors, but that's not going to be enough. Neeb just has way too much stuff. Takes out the Robo, takes out the disruptor, takes out the shield battery. He hasn't actually taken out the disruptor yet, but he will eventually. There we go. And that'll be that. Neeb is really, 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 really good right now. I think Astrea's gonna have to try his luck in the lower bracket. It's not over yet, series-wise. This is a best of 5, but this game's over. It's done and dusted. Dusted! You got dusted. You were dust and you got dusted. Astrea is a big believer in comebacks. And to be fair, he did go up to 6 bases during all this aggression, so I'm sure at a lot of points he was still hopeful that his economy would carry him through, but he never got enough of an army. This is Astrea being even more stubborn than I'm used to, though. Again, because I guess he's still on 5 bases mining, so he's like, well, why would I leave? It's a good question. Why would you? The army's kind of getting weirdly small, too. Neeb's Warp Prism isn't being used to reinforce the main engagement. It's being used to unsuccessfully harass Astrea's 5th base. And, I mean, the armor supplies have certainly gotten more similar than I was going to ever expect. But, at the end of the day, Neeb does still just have too much. But you could see what Astrea was seeing for a second there. Neeb's army wasn't being reinforced. It was kind of all over the place. He was underestimating the amount that Astrea could reinforce with. Almost an opportunity. Thank you, Bali, for that gifted sub. Ziggy, you're in your other one. You're in the other cat tree. Look at you, you barely fit. That's your kitten one. That's what you use as a baby. You don't fit in that anymore. He looks so content. I don't know if you guys can really see his very peaceful, loving eyes right now, but he's just like, snuggly. Snuggle buggles. It's too small. Get you a bigger one. Third and perhaps final game of this best of 5. Top right, Neeb. Bottom left-ish, Astrea. Love when the map makers do this. It's like they want the casters to be uncertain of themselves. Well, they're not really totally bottom left, you know? It's like a 10 o'clock. Little do they know that I just love the word ish or esque if I want to be very fancy. Bottom left-esque. And another expansion map. There are a lot of them. I haven't actually counted the amount of maps in the map pool that have a natural wall, natural ramp, but it's like at least 4 to 7, right? I want to say there's at least 4 maps that have a natural ramp, thus makes it an expansion map for PvP. Far more than our previous map pool. Twice as much, actually. Fat shaming cats? No. Ziggy's actually probably our skinniest cat, despite being so much of a little piggly wiggly. But he has grown, as animals do. What used to be capable of fitting in a pocket is now not capable of being fit in a pocket. I ask you this, if an adult tries to get on a baby swing, you know, the one that's like kind of like wearing underpants, but like the baby's like feet in through it, right? Or like a toddler or whatever. And a person says, hey, you don't fit in that anymore, you can't do that. Do you then accuse them of fat shaming? I don't think you do. You could try. Anyways. Don't think that's 10 o'clock. Yeah, you're right, it's like 7. I was just picking a random hour on the clock. But in particular, this map, I'm gonna go with... Let's see here, let's see. I'm gonna go with... Yeah, I'm gonna go with 8:30. It's 8:30 versus... I think it's like 2:30, right? Yeah. What else has happened in this game? Neeb goes for a Stargate. Astrea goes for a Twilight Council. They both know of each other's plans. Well, Neeb doesn't know about the Twilight Council, but he will soon. Not because of the Zealot, which will be cleaned up without killing any of the probes, but because the Oracle is going to swoop in. Won't get any damage done, but we will scout the Twilight Council. Oh, all the gas mining probes. That's actually really annoying. And even gets a couple of the weakened probes! It doesn't lose the Oracle! Godlike. Astrea is just adding on Blink, but has also just put a cheeky pylon down. Warping some adepts. If Neeb did count the pylons, he would know that there is a pylon missing. So that could mean a Dark Shrine, which should be very worrisome, or it could just mean that it's being used as proxy. So that is actually what's happening, and that has become very obvious with the 2 adepts shading into the natural. Get 3 probes, puts Neeb now down 2. But Neeb still has this Oracle that could do more damage. Only 1 though, so not that likely. And it is Astrea that goes for a Dark Shrine. Okay, okay. So I actually like this. I feel like because Astrea revealed that this pylon wasn't to hide a Dark Shrine, it was to get Adept warp-ins, Neeb might be just like, oh, okay, I don't have to worry about Dark Shrine. It was just for Adepts. So then he doesn't kind of recommit to the idea of DTs, isn't eager to get a Robo, because if you can push off the Robo until after you get a 3rd Nexus up, then the PvPers will do it. And that is currently what is being done. Although also what's being done is that Neeb is just attacking, so that's going to make this really awkward. In fact, I think this is going to make this favor to Astrea. Neeb attacking is good for Astrea because that means that Neeb is not teching. So I love this Dark Shrine. Okay, Astrea Stalkers get into the main base. They're going to see just a couple of gateways. That's not really telling, but they also saw a very late 3rd Nexus, just in context to a PvP. So Astrea's 3rd Nexus is also late, but Astrea would know generally when a 3rd Nexus is kind of supposed to go down if you aren't getting a Dark Shrine, you aren't going for a 2-base Robo, which is all things that Astrea has done here, and you're not going to go for a gateway attack, which is what Neeb is doing. But maybe that isn't actually what Astrea could read into it. Thought there might be some other thing in play. Went for his third nexus. Whoops, a daisies. There's a proxy gateway, and there's no way that he would have known that a proxy gateway was coming in from that location as well. So that was very unlucky. And I don't know if the Stark Shrine is going to actually save Astrea. So clearly Neeb had Oracles. It wasn't a, you know, okay, DTs show up, GG, but the DTs have so much potential to cause a lot of chaos that's why I liked it for Astrea. Man, Neeb's actually really good. He saw those DTs. He looked back at his base for 1 second and saw them and tried to warp in a sentry to stop further DTs from coming in. This isn't the chaos that I believed the DTs could do. I believed in them and they failed me. Well, no, okay, 12 drone. You know, 12 is fine. 12 is fine. 12 is better than the 7 I thought they were going to get. So now Neeb is behind in workers, but then he's ahead on the Nexus because he got... Oh, he killed Astrea's Nexus too. That wasn't a cancel. Okay, yeah, that didn't do enough damage. That did not. Neeb has a similar number of workers, but spread out a little bit more. Is going to eventually super favor him. Right now, not as much. So Astrea has some time where that lacking third base isn't the biggest of deals. But if he were to get it canceled again, for instance, then that would be game over, man. And it still is Neeb favored. He's got more army supply, he's got more workers, there are more mineral patches, 2 oracles can still do more damage in the future as well. Yeah, Neeb holds all the cards. And Astrea is gonna get DT Blink. Okay then. Okay. It's very expensive in the context of this game. It's not really the most expensive upgrade. It was cheapened many moons ago. Was the Dark Shrine and the DT Blink both cheapened? I think so. Anyways. But I mean, you know, he's not rolling in the dough right now. I feel like there's other things you'd usually be expecting from a Protoss here, like, well, Charge, Templar Archives, or maybe Disruptor, Hail Mary. But DT Blink? It's not what I was expecting. But not the first time I've seen someone include this. It is very annoying to deal with. And Astrea just found both oracles. He went to hunting. Maybe he saw it with his El Naga, I'm not sure, but he found them. And what he hasn't found is the proxy gateway, which means that Neeb's attack is much stronger than Astrea thinks. If he's like, oh, I didn't see a warp prism, maybe it's not that bad. Well, he's wrong. I'm really surprised he didn't kill this pylon. It seems so easy. He did scout it. Ow! Both Immortals are going to get taken down before going back to the shield battery. Damn. Neeb is making these guys look silly. It's not like he's won the game already, but damn. Going into Disruptors at this point. Gonna try and take out that shield battery. There we go. Took an extra shot. And it is getting a little awkward. As the probes are pulled, Neeb is really lacking the fodder units here. The stalker count's very low. The charge lots were all gone for a hot second. And the Immortals were increasingly more snipeable. They're still pretty snipeable. But the Zealots do come in, force Astrea to retreat. It looks like he's also hoping this DT will continue to run amok, and it does. Get a lot of damage done. But both of them are now taking damage at this point. Astrea's DT is getting into the natural and the main base. Going to make up for his lost probes, ideally, and I think it will. Yeah, it absolutely will. They're in every nook and cranny, and they got DT Blink. So they're even going to try and get to that third base, of which there is no observer. So while there are units there, Neeb took this into account. He can't actually see it to kill it. So now it is Astrea slowly about to give it a second. There you go, take a probe lead. Did take a second, though. And there we have it. More of them going down. Where is this guy? I thought this guy was cleaned up. He was not. And I guess Neeb also thought he was cleaned up, so he's bringing up Observer to the wrong location. And now he moves out from this little task squad. You were supposed to stay there. They were depending on you. And now the proxy gateway is taken down, and Neeb. Ooh, he took a lot of damage from that. He's down 16 workers. He does get his 4th Nexus finished, however. Well, you know, Astrea just is now building his, so he'll be able to replenish those workers kind of quickly, but he won't be able to afford much else while he's cranking out 200 minerals worth of probes every round. So that's the trade-off there. He's also not started his +2 attack. Astrea coming in a big way. It's looking to have trouble actually killing Neeb, and Neeb even aggressively blinks forward. That was bold. Ooh. Where are Astrea's observers? Oh, nice pickup on the Immortal. Neeb tries to punish it, but he is going to be overwhelmed. His Immortal's not even shooting yet. Oh, finds one of the observers that Astrea did bring forward. And this is not all of Neeb's army, by the way. He is trying to safeguard his 4th base while just making sure to have the least amount of units necessary to defend, which is still very scary to me. I'm looking at the size of these armies, and I'm like, I don't know, Neeb. Yeah, that Immortal goes down. The 2 shots, to be fair, but then, oh, whoa, trying to get the surrounds as Neeb's reinforcements come forward. Neeb thinks he's got a shot, and currently the army supplies are rather even. Neeb's game sense is crazy right now, and now he has the healthier stalkers as well. He does take down quite a few of Astrea's retreating stalkers and keeps the supplies even / in his favor, just by a little bit. And he has cut up on those probes, by the way. Still excellent defense from this CT. To be mindful of this while defending just barely enough with that, and then collapsing in on Astrea at the exact right time, this is all really amazing. It's really amazing by Neeb, also a tad unlucky for Astrea. You know, because if he had moved his ET in when the rest of the army came forward here, then he probably does do damage, but... yeah, geez, anyways. Astrea had a beautiful moment. The DTs did so much damage. And I really thought he was going to eventually push past here, but no, he did not. Yay, my mom hands me food. Fruity Tooties. Oh, they're like gummies. Yay, gummies. And yay, PvP. But yeah, Neeb's seriously kicking butt. He has fallen completely behind in the upgrades, but that was a worthwhile sacrifice. He was able to hold, barely. And now Neeb is still going to struggle against the DT harassment. He's hoping to include some of his own. Recalls an observer and just enough units to take care of things, but he also recalled the Immortal, which he might want on the front lines. Oh, but if Astrea tries to blink forward for that Immortal, he'd be in a lot of trouble. There are disruptors. He sees them now. Here's disruptor shot number 1. Not going to catch anything, but with disruptors and stack defense and just enough units to protect them, Neeb is not going to be bowled over anytime soon. But Astrea is winning in other departments, again, continuing with the upgrade lead, as well as being up to 5, 6 bases, actually. 2 Astrea, 2 Neeb's 2, 4, shit. 2 Neeb's 4. A 2 base difference. So Neeb's gonna have to take some very, very cost-efficient engagements. His 1 unit came over here and saw a healthy base with some stack defense. That's not a great sign. Ditto on this base. Not a great sign. But Neeb has now, I guess, gotten a little more of the lay of the land. He knows the situation a little bit better. He knows that he is pretty desperate to get a good engagement. So, I'm not sure he can force a good engagement, but Astrea is probably going to try and pick away at him, which might open up an opportunity for a good engagement. Thing is that if Astrea just kind of walks around like this, then Neeb is always going to be making a very tough decision. Either it chases Astrea's more mobile army, or he goes for, you know, a base trade, basically. In a base trade, you know, you kind of want to have the units that are easier to control in a base race. Disruptor is not exactly easy to control, but on the other hand, things get chaotic. 1 disruptor shot seems more likely to can do damage. So, pros and cons. Sure, I didn't have charge. The zealots are very sad. And now Astrea is just trying to pull Neeb apart. It's a fair amount of stack defense at that base, but not going to buy enough time at all. However, now Astrea is going to be surrounded. Oh, DT is getting into the mix as well, but there is an observer, and then he snipes Neeb's observer, so guarantees that DTs will not save the day. Pounces on the disruptors on the right side. Neeb did not predict that. Had no shots on the way. Has just been rung around the rosy. I don't think that's how you would say that. But there it is anyways. He has been on the goose chase. The goose is laughing at him. And now here comes the pincer move. Disruptors going either side. Actually, pretty good disruptor shots on the left, taking on the charge lots. Good disruptor shots on the right, taking on the stalkers. And Astrea had a beautiful surround. Potentially game ending, but Neeb's disruptors just good enough to help wash off some of those units. And Neeb still holds on to a small but important army supply lead. Because that is an army supply lead with 4 disruptors to 0. DTs are also back in the action as Neeb took on the observers, so Astrea had to recall one of his other observers, but he's already lost control of this particular portion of the map. That base will go down, and Neeb might be looking to continue on. He's going to play it a bit safe here and try and pull back. More charges are on the way. Astrea happily takes down one of the disruptors, then also forces many of the other disruptor shots as well. Only 3 disruptors. Gets easy to count them, doesn't it? Now make that 2, and the one that shot was the one that was killed. Now that's 1, and now it is 0 as Neeb tried to retreat at that right time, but Astrea was onto it. He knew that he was supposed to go after it, and with 18 zealots warping in, he's on 21 gateways. Are you kidding me? Yeah, Neeb is out of luck. I did not realize how many gateways he added on. He was on 6, almost 7 bases, 90 workers. But I was not expecting 21 gateways. Oh my goodness. And Neeb's gonna try and, I guess, make some action happen. Because I guess Neeb really isn't out of luck yet, but with, I saw 18 zealots and I could have sworn Neeb was just gonna die right then and there. And he is down 60 army supply, but he's gonna try and make things weird. They both have access to DTs, they both still have observers. I'm not sure that's gonna change the course of history. One disruptor does get a good shot, but you know, it's pretty unlikely that the disruptors would kill all these zealots, just for the way that zealots get that concave. Maybe if they all go up a ramp. That could be different. Neeb is now being attacked on his 4th and in his main. He's gonna lose access to his production and technology. Astrea's massive warp-ins don't work as well when he doesn't have the bank for it, so that was a partial zealot warp-in, and most of them are choked up in that little pylon awkwardness anyways. Neeb is now down only 20 army supply, and he does have 2 disruptors waiting to bowl a strike if Astrea tries to head into the natural. That is so many charge lots. Oh, and he's going to recall them as well. Neeb could just skedaddle, though. He could actually just blink away, right? I mean, he might lose. He's going to lose stalkers on the retreat. Charge is going to activate, and the blink is going to activate, and the charge is going to activate, and the blink is going to activate. And oh, we got another sandwich coming in here. Astrea coming in from multiple directions. Neeb forced to try and save whatever he can. Salvage situation, but that was not at all what he was hoping for. He was hoping that Astrea would have just rammed 20 zealots into his natural, in which the disruptors are waiting for it. With 33 zealots, that is a decent amount, you guys. Oh, there's no observer. Oh, there are no, there's 2 observers. Just kidding. Disruptors? Only 2 disruptors? Neeb pulls the boys! He's pulling the boys! 2 disruptor shots are used. This would be the time for the zealots to go, go, go! The observers are in action right now. The DTs are gonna get taken down, and the probes can only provide so much body buffer. The disruptors desperately need that second shot, but here come even more zealots. Astrea still has some mining going on, and that is game. Astrea, he was pushed, man. If that comeback had happened, it would have been a great game. Otherwise, still a pretty good game. Look, I got Tutti Fruities. I'm really enjoying these gummies. All right. Gummies have been eaten. They were quite good. And now game number 4 is going to be on Moondance. Top left, Neeb. Bottom right, Astrea. Damn, I'm out of water. It's sad. It's a really cool game. Neeb fell behind, then he pushed ahead, then he fell behind, then he pushed ahead, then he fell really behind by the DTs, but then kind of still pushed ahead. I mean, that was, unfortunately to me, still more impressive from Neeb. Astrea was right there. He was right there. It was almost as impressive. But I found myself wondering how Neeb was going to bring it back, and then he almost did. So Astrea just kind of delivering the final blow was more expected, so I can't give him as much credit, but obviously we do have to give him credit. Playing a mass expansion, mass gateway style, never going into disruptors. Not something we see too often nowadays. I would say there was a moment in time in 2021, I guess. Must have been. Don't really remember 2020 too well. Where there were some Protoss players taking advantage of the expected. So Protoss player A would go into disruptors after a certain point, and Protoss player B would usually do that too, but then goes, what if I just make a lot of shit? And then they would overwhelm. It can be very tricky to pull off, because clearly killing someone who is appropriately defending with disruptors is very difficult to do. And if you do overcommit and show your weakness, then the disruptor player does take advantage of those chokes that I was talking about, something that Neeb tried to do but was ultimately unsuccessful. But it's still tricky. But Astrea played that out really well. 21 gateways is kind of crazy. And now we go into Moondance, which is a potential fast expand map. The problem is that you wouldn't fast expand like you would expect, right? So you can't really one gate expand on the low ground without that ramp to help you. It's not very good. And then as far as taking a Nexus eventually, you are still kind of in a weird position where if they attack you with more units, you're not getting the benefit of having the shield battery and the overcharge like you would defending this choke. Instead, they kind of push in and then you'd be high, hitting from the high ground, which is helpful, but maybe not as helpful as a shield battery would be. And their natural's under attack. You have to kind of walk over there or hover over there, whatever your units do. And then maybe they just recall out. It's a bit weird. But it is Astrea going for the expansion, and Neeb is going for a 3-gate robo all-in. He's gonna punish it. Or he's gonna try, so we're gonna see how this weird expansion process works. Now, Neeb technically doesn't know that his opponent has expanded, but is probably predicting it. There is a chance they're both going for robos, or Astrea went for a Stargate. A chance. Neeb is gambling. Only one pylon gives me concern. I think in the same way that this can be a vulnerability from the expansion player, it can also be more of a trap. If Neeb dedicates down here, it's going to take a lot of time to actually kill that, which gives Astrea more time to build pylons, shield batteries, whatever. But then, okay, could be a trap or could just be exactly this. Force field comes in. That's a huge bummer. And that is the downside of having the natural where it is. Neeb is going to warp in 3 more stalkers. That would give him, 12. 12 stalkers to 7 currently. He's just gonna jump into the main. Did he bring a sentry? Oh, he didn't bring a sentry. He didn't have a force field anyways. But I thought he was maybe gonna wall off again. Instead, it's a very interesting... Oh, he lost the warp prism. What the fuck is happening right now? Okay, stalkers from Neeb coming on the north, but a shield battery is there to help out. The stalkers that are captured by the probes on the south are all going to die. And Neeb does lose a lot of his army. In fact, all of his armies. This last stalker gets caught in front of a force field, but he has now a 9-worker lead, 1 base to 1. Yeah, okay. Neeb did more damage. Neeb did the necessary damage. And now his expansion just a bit ahead of Astrea's. And his lackluster army is going to be made up for with an immortal, perhaps even 2. They might just add on a Twilight Council and go into Blink from here, which means that it's a game that Astrea is allowed to play out. But down that many workers so early on, he knows that he needs to get something done. So War Prism Harassment. If you get a cancel here, that'd be fantastic. Really shouldn't happen, though. Actually, I think it will. If Neeb had a War Prism, I guarantee it's not canceled. But without it, his mobility is lacking and his safety is lacking. And yeah, that just mere threat of the War Prism kept Neeb from defending his natural. So Astrea now is ahead on a base again. Oh, PvP. But Neeb can maybe do a counterattack now? Yeah. Blink certainly won't be done anytime soon in a game like this. So as long as the War Prism doesn't literally fly over stalkers, this could be a lot of damage that Astrea takes. He's already catching up on that probe count. Excellent observer location too. He's gonna know where Astrea's army is moving, how it's moving, so... Oh, well, he's gonna lose the observer, so not so excellent anymore. Takes down 4 probes, almost got damage done to that immortal, but actually took damage to his own, so... Didn't really work out. But the 4 probes are still important. Astrea had literally just caught up on that probe count, and is once again behind by 4. But still, having 2 probe production versus 1, Astrea will catch up once again. Just barely. And this War Prism harassment, oh, it'll continue. It isn't finding maybe as much success as Neeb would want. Maybe more like 7 or 8 probes. But gets what it gets. Stalker included. And if Neeb can tell approximately when his opponent will have Blink, he'll probably harass until that point. Until there's something that tells him he can't harass anymore. So either, you know, Blink finishing up, or, oh, he lost his immortal. Or the army mysteriously disappearing. And knowing, oh, okay, I'm about to be attacked. But Neeb's lost an immortal. His second immortal now is only at half health on the hull. That is a tongue twister. I don't know, mate. I don't know. Neeb scouts that the 3rd Nexus is already on the way, so confirms he can go for his own, I guess. No fear there. And then Blink will finish up for Neeb. Astrea is going to just go without Blink. It's going to go right into Disruptors, or maybe Colossus? Nah, I think it was the Disruptors. If he was suspicious of Neeb going pure in the charge laws, I think maybe Colossus would work, but... No, it's going to be very fast Disruptors. But she's on a map where your 3rd base is just automatically protected, so he should be able to get 2 Disruptors. Only have 1 choke to defend. That should be relatively easy, but is he gonna get there, ZombieGrub? Is he, though? Astrea has no shield battery in his natural. No idea that Neeb has moved out, and only half of his army is currently in natural, so easy pickings with those force fields. Astrea just had no idea this was on the way. And he is going to go into Colossus, but it's not going to impact this game. He's already taken so much damage, lost his probes. Nexus is, you know, possible target for this attack as well. And is this really just all of Astrea's army? Just a couple of sentries and the War Prism are missing from the initial fight. Yeah, if he had better positioning, if his War Prism was there to pick up that immortal that was force fielded forward, if he had a shield battery, it's very possible that Astrea would have held, but he had no idea that Neeb was coming across the map. GG. GG. Neeb will take the series 3-1 and be in TSL9. Astrea is going to have to go and wait to face... yeah, okay, someone. I'm not sure who yet.